Welcome back to Let's Talk Science. My name is Stephanie Monticelli, Program Director at Humans for Education, and I'm joined by Daphne Pariser, CEO and founder of Humans for Education.
And today we are joined by a very special guest, Todd Youngman. He is a very good friend of mine, and he's also a comedian here in Rochester. And we're really excited to talk to him because it's a very difficult time right now where we're all together living in this global pandemic. We're going through Black Lives Matters, lots of protests, lots of really great peaceful protests, and then, a lot of different emotions going on right now. And so we thought that this would be a really exciting opportunity to talk about the impact and the power of laughter. And so Todd was the first person that came to mind because of his incredible work with comedy and all of the things that he's done over the years. And so Todd will actually be doing some comedy this weekend at Comedy at the Carlson here in Rochester all weekend long. They've actually come up with this brilliant way of doing comedy during this pandemic where you can actually sit in your car and they have a live stage, and then you can basically listen in your car like a drive-in movie theater, which is just such an awesome idea. So, Todd, thank you so much for being here and welcome.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you, Todd.
Yeah.
We're very excited to talk to you. So, over the past few weeks, I've been extremely stressed, just, with everything going on. So I guess one of the pressing questions that I have for you is, how do you make yourself laugh? Sometimes I don't have anyone around me to make me laugh. How do you make yourself laugh and feel good?
Making myself, I always try to think of how I can make others laugh. It's not so much about me of making myself laugh. Then I'd probably be deranged and a lunatic over here, just laughing at myself all day. But for me, it's wanting to and the ability of trying to make other people laugh, and to be able to make other people laugh makes me happy. It's hard to explain. It's almost it's like a drug for me to be able to know that I've made other people laugh with something I said or something I've posted on social media.
And I think that there's a lot of power to that too, because a lot of psychologists typically state that even if you're in a dark place, it's typically really good for you if you can find a way to reach out to your community and try to do something that doesn't necessarily focus so much on yourself individually, but a place where you can start to reach out to other people. So if there's something that feels good to you right now, like, making other people laugh, or, I recently found TikTok, by the way, which, oh my God, I just literally, I think 2 days of my entire life have been wasted. I mean, not wasted, but are gone now.
Yeah, it's a rabbit hole for sure.
It is.
Yeah.
But honestly, I mean, I actually really like TikTok because there is a lot of fun, positivity. It's very lighthearted. There's just a lot of laughter on TikTok. But then, of course, there's other ways like volunteering at a food bank or going to a peaceful protest or something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for me, it was kind of when the whole COVID started, I knew that was a time that I could really use my abilities to try and distract and make people laugh and, see different sides of things, because with that, it was easy. But when the Black Lives Matter thing started with, the death of George Floyd, that was sensitive. And that was I just kind of let that, subside a little before I even started posting anything lighthearted, because that just wasn't a time for, I felt, for any kind of my silliness that I post on Facebook. And it's just silliness. I do nothing political. I do nothing religious. It's just me and my silly, weird life. That's all I post about.
I think that makes sense. I think it's a very serious topic, and I think it's, I think it's still a little bit too early for memes and stuff like that right now.
Yeah.
But definitely, I think,
I just slowly started posting again, just my silly posts and photos and my dog. It's never, you can always post pictures of your dog, or your cat or whatever you have. But
so tell us about your posts. I want to hear more. I see them all the time, but our audience doesn't know what they are.
Yeah, most of my posts, I do mainly to, just make the people on my friends list laugh. I use it as a trying ground too for a lot of the material I do on stage. So if I post something, say about my daughter or my kids, or I have a neighbor who drinks a lot. I call her Boozy Pam. My boozy neighbor Pam, and she's real, and people always wonder about her. But I always post about these things, and when I put them up, I put them up and I gauge it by how many people like it. I gauge it by, if it's male or female liking it, what kind of comments they're giving me back. And it gives me a good feedback as to whether that joke might work on a stage. And then, I go from there and I bring it up on stage and, try and make it more stage friendly, because, when you type something, it's a lot different than delivering it in front of a crowd. So that's why I started using Facebook. I use it as a launching platform for a lot of my material I use on stage.
How funny is that?
Yeah, right?
So,
oh, go ahead.
No, I said, why not?
So I just had, sometimes I feel like people who, want to try and make people laugh during these times, sometimes they're kind of hesitant because they think that they might, say the wrong thing or offend the wrong person. So do you have any, advice for how people can try and make people laugh without, going, too far or being too worried about saying the wrong thing, especially right now? I think
especially right now. Stay away from that topic. If anybody even think, like, I don't know why anybody would want to go up on stage even after the COVID's over and make jokes about the virus. I don't know. I can't even wrap my brain around it, knowing 100,000 people or more have died from it, to try and make humor of that. And especially what's going on with, the Black Lives Matter and the George Floyd situation, to go up and try and make light of that. I don't know. You're a crazy person if you go up on stage and try that. But I stay away from that stuff. I really do. That, like I said before, I let it all kind of, I let it play out for a little while, and I'm slowly coming back in and just doing my lighthearted stuff. I don't know why anybody would even, consider doing jokes about that stuff.
So tell us a little bit more about your actual topics, because a lot of us don't know what you actually talk about. And because I'm really familiar with your stuff, I think it's really funny. And I think it gets really very much at Stephanie's point of, you can be very funny in this time and have literally nothing to say about COVID, nothing to say funny-wise about Black Lives Matters. Right. You can just be a funny person and stay away from these topics and leave these topics to still be serious.
Right.
So I'd love to hear more about what's on your page.
Right. And well, you're talking about my page, but are you talking about my act or my page?
Yes.
Yeah. So my act and my page is just everyday life. Like, to me, that's the funniest stuff, is everyday life. Like, I'll talk about TV shows I watch. I'll make fun of that. I'll talk about growing up in the 70s. I'll talk about things my dogs have done. I like to try and keep it relatable, because when you're at a comedy show or even on your computer, when you read something, you kind of want to be taken away for a little bit. And that's what I like to do as a comedian, is take somebody, take them someplace else. Because even when life is normal and somebody comes to the comedy club and they want to see a show, they may have had a stressful, horrible week, and they come, they pay good money, they have a drink or some food, and somebody on the stage is taking them away for, however long I'm up there, 10, 20, 30 minutes on stage. And if I can make them laugh, and you guys may know this too, that when you laugh, it gives off endorphins that make you feel good inside. If I can do that in my, whatever amount of time set, I've done my job as a comedian. Now, for instance, I did a benefit probably about a year and a half ago at a local country club. And a woman came up to me after my set, and she told me that, and it made me feel so good, because she said this is the first time she's laughed, and I think it was like 12 or 14 weeks, because she'd been in chemotherapy for so long. And this is the first time she's been out in public, and to be able to laugh and have fun, it made me feel good about what I can do.
Oh my God. there's something very cathartic about laughter.
There is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think what you're saying about kind of taking people away for even, just a minute from their lives, I think for me especially is really important, because we don't want to just be constantly thinking about all the things that we have to do and everything that's going on in the world. It's kind of like flipping off social media. It's just that 1 hour that you have where you don't have to think about anything but just laughing, which is just, it's really special.
And I try to be that anti news feed. A lot of the news feed, you go scrolling through and you're like, oh my God, it's getting worse and worse and worse. And then you get to my silliness and you're like, oh my God, that guy's an idiot. And you laugh for a second. And that's what I hope to get across when I'm posting things on my Facebook or my Instagram. And on my Instagram, I Photoshop my head on different things just to make
Oh my God.
laugh. Yeah.
Those are so funny. And I think that levity is exactly the type of thing that people need right now. Something that's not related, something that, because I remember after my 3-hour TikTok break, I went back to Facebook, and I just remember going through my feed and just being like inundated with just like all of this political stuff, and it just felt so heavy and so difficult right now. And I mean, this is kind of like my job and Stephanie's job right now is to be researching COVID, researching all this stuff. And so we're sitting in it all the time.
Right.
But it is just so tiring, which is why, having this break is so important.
It is tiring, and it can really be draining. But I don't know. As human beings, I guess people want to get that information out there and absorb it. I'm just not that guy. I don't want to. I'll see it. I know it's there. I know the COVID's there. I know what's going on with the Black Lives Matter. And sometimes I it's overload, and I can't take it. And then I want to get my silliness out there, and I hope that what I do, I hope I don't come across as being like I'm downplaying either of those two things, because I know they're out there and they need to be dealt with. But I am in no way in doing that when I'm just trying to be have some fun out there. And like you said, people need to laugh now. Some people don't want to laugh right now.
Which is okay too, I think.
Yeah, that's fine. But a lot of people do, and we're finding that by these parking lot shows we're doing at Comedy at the Carlson. We did 3 shows last weekend. 2 of the shows sold out. We cap it at 125 cars, and the Friday and Saturday shows sold out. And that tells us that people they're starving for A, entertainment, and B, they want to laugh.
I also think it's important to, sometimes for me, I feel like I need, sometimes to get validation that it's okay to feel a certain way sometimes. And I think, maybe some people might need that justification or validation to allow themselves to laugh right now, because it is such a difficult time. And I think that it is so important right now just to have like a 10-20 minute break from like this day of difficult right now.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what we're trying to get across. And I would really like to show one of your Instagram photos, which is one of my favorites, if that's okay with you.
Oh, please do. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know how to show it on my computer, unfortunately, so it's going to have to be from my phone. So hopefully we can get this done.
Yeah, I want to see it
properly.
Yeah, that's
one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's me, Alice from the Brady Bunch, with my 5 o'clock shadow.
I mean, your Photoshop is just incredible. It's ridiculous.
No, if anything, follow me just for my Photoshop pictures, because I love doing those.
I'm pretty sure in my phone, this is what I have as your picture in my phone.
Yeah, right. That's a good one too.
Yeah.
It's showing off my earring.
Yeah. It's really amazing.
Thank you.
And that's the type of humor that's just relaxed enough, that doesn't have anything to do with what's happening right now.
Not
very,
at all.
Very calm. Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Something you're scrolling through, you're reading, you're getting your information, and then boom, there's that joker showing me his earring, and you keep going. You get a little laugh, hopefully, or you say, oh, what an asshole, or whatever. Oh, sorry.
But, I think you're exactly right, Daphne. I think sometimes people get so caught up in what's going on that they think they're not allowed to laugh, which, You are. And I think that we as humans kind of look at other people for our decisions and for our choices. And, when you have people around you that are telling you that it's okay to laugh, I think that's extremely helpful. And I think that it gives us a reason to. So I think that's really important also.
Yeah. Exactly. So what sort of resources do you think that you could offer to people who are needing a laugh right now?
That need laughs? Netflix is loaded with stand-up specials.
Okay.
Go through it.
Do you have a favorite?
Right now, the new Jerry Seinfeld, I think, is amazing. It's so good. Not new. It's probably a month or two old now, but it's fantastic. There's a woman named Fortune Feimster. She has a Netflix special that is so funny. You would love it if you put it on. I also I love old comedians, and I'm talking from the 60s and 70s. I'll go and listen to their stuff too, just as a distraction. But Netflix is a great source for any kind of stand-up. Even Amazon has some good ones. And you can even go Google these people on YouTube and watch, so, like you said, short attention spans. They'll have like 2-3 minute, clips of their sets. Watch those. Get some laughter in your life. You need it. And, if your people want to follow me on Facebook or Instagram and ask me, some of my favorite comics, if they want to know, who knows, I'd be glad to let them know who I follow and, go.
And what is your Facebook and your Instagram?
My Facebook is just Todd Youngman, young man. And then my Instagram is at Todd Youngman.
Okay, great. And we will also have that linked in our bio so you guys can follow him if you would like to.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm not forcing you. I'm not the boss of you.
It's honestly really worth it because he posts some really funny shit. So
hey, do it. Come have some laughs.
I use Photoshop all the time for my science, and I cannot Photoshop as good as you can Photoshop. So maybe I'll pick up a few tricks.
Stephanie, I'm going to put your head on somebody.
Yes, please. Can you put your head on somebody, please? Awesome.
Daphne, send me a picture.
Photoshop me and my dog somewhere with cool people.
Send me a picture. I'll do that for you.
Awesome. Well, is there anything else that you want to tell our audience before we sign off?
Yeah, just to reiterate, get out, laugh, try and laugh. That's important. Have some fun. And like we talked about earlier, it gives off endorphins. It makes your body feel good, even if it is just for a split second. But you need to, because we're being inundated with a lot of information, especially since March, and it's not going to slow up. So try and counter the feelings you're having of fear or whatever you're feeling with a little bit of laughter, because everybody needs it. And like I said, we're not telling you not everybody needs a laugh right now, but maybe you don't feel like laughing now, but when you're ready, get out there, watch some comedy shows, and feel good. That's all.
And definitely try to follow, even if you don't feel like watching something long. That's why I love following Todd, because they're short snippets,
Right.
I can be on my Facebook and just see his really short posts, and it's just a quick laugh and then it's over, and so find comedians that you find funny, follow them on Facebook or Instagram or whatever social media platform that you guys use, and just try to get a quick few minute laughs in maybe 2 or 3 times a day, because right now is a really, really important time to be doing that. Yeah. And I think, Todd, you said that there's going to be a show this weekend, right?
Yeah, all this weekend in the parking lot at Comedy at the Carlson. We've been doing drive-in style comedy shows in the parking lot. It's socially distanced. And what it is just, like I said, like a drive-in movie. You pull up in your cars, you face our building, and on the sidewalk, they've built a stage, and the comedians come up just like a regular comedy show. There's 3 comedians. They come up. You got your host, your feature, and your headliner. And our microphone goes right through a FM transmitter. So you tune your dial to 89.1, and it comes right into your car. You watch the show. We're on stage. We also have on both sides of the stage 2 giant movie screens that are showing the show there. So no matter where you are, you can see the performer on the stage and also hear it in your car. And a lot of people now have been sitting outside their cars with lawn chairs, and people bring like wine and cheese. And at this weekend's show, we're going to have a food truck there serving, hot dogs, hamburgers, garbage plates, chicken sandwiches, ice creams, and non-alcoholic beverages. So it's tons of fun.
That's awesome.
Good to me. I love the fact that the drive-through is coming back, or the drive-in.
Drive-in.
I used to go to the drive-in all the time as a kid, and now it's just all over the place again. I love it.
Yeah. And it was funny, a week ago, I actually got to perform at a real drive-in theater in Auburn, New York, which was a lot of fun because they had us perform on this crappy little makeshift stage. And there were 72 cars there, and they had us up on the drive-in movie screen. And when we were done, after that, they played the movie Jaws. So it was kind of cool just to perform at a drive-in movie.
How fun is that?
Yeah, it's so cool.
But I love that you guys are kind of bringing that back, right? Like in a time where you guys can't have people indoors, this is such a brilliant idea for you guys to still be bringing in money and also be bringing people happiness and joy in this time. It's so awesome.
And the best part about what you just said is next weekend we can perform back inside. We just got word that we can go inside. But we can be half capacity. We're normally 325 people in our main showroom. Right. So we'll be about half or maybe a little less. And the front row has to be 12 feet from the stage. Tables have to be 6 feet apart. And you can only sit with people, we used to just put, people together if you were 2s or 4s. Now it's with whoever you know. And it'll just be our main showroom. The bar won't be open, but there'll be table service for food and alcohol. So,
but the great thing is that even though you can start performing inside, you've now done it outside, and you have this whole system set up that you still have that option. And it's a really cool thing. You can mix it up. So I think it's been, with all the bad things going on with COVID, I think it's also brought out a lot of creativity. So I think it's really, really cool to see.
And the crazy thing about performing outside, it's totally different because you don't have the laughter. And comedians, they play off the laughter and reaction of a crowd.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, it's very difficult. But now with people sitting outside the car, you can hear a little bit of laughter. But before it was you got nothing. You couldn't hear any, because normally your joke, you're like, okay, there's my punchline, no laughs. But what they were doing is blinking their high beams at you to let you know that they liked the joke. So it was really kind of cool. Yeah.
Well, that's at least good, because that would be terrifying.
That would scare me.
No, it's so weird.
I think that's my biggest fear, is that nobody laughs at my jokes that I just think are so funny.
Yeah, tell me about it.
So, some of you guys may not know this, but Todd actually helped me prepare for my TED Talk when I gave my TED Talk. Was it a year ago or 2 years ago? I don't even remember now.
It wasn't 2 years. Was it really?
It was a year ago? Anyway, it doesn't matter. But so he helped me prepare for my TED Talk, and he actually helped me design some of the jokes that were in my TED Talk. Yeah. And unfortunately, the audience that was at my TED Talk, there were like very, very, very few people that were there. Mm-hmm. And I think we got like 5 laughs the entire time.
That's no good.
So I guess it's not fun.
We bombed.
No, I think that the jokes did land. I think it was just like the crowd that was so diverse and so few people. And most of the people were a little bit older. And I don't think that they totally got our Starbucks joke, but that's okay.
Maybe they didn't think that they could laugh. Maybe they were like waiting for other people to laugh, and they're like, "Oh, I don't know if I should."
Well,
we were the only TED Talk that had jokes in it, so.
You say laughter is contagious. So when a lot of people don't like, if it's a small group, they don't want to be heard laughing unless everybody else is laughing.
So if anybody goes and listens to my TED Talk, please laugh, because you're going to be the only one laughing during the TED Talk.
It's weird, because when you
then comment on our Facebook that you laugh.
Or flash your high beams at her when you see it.
Then comment that you flash your high beams.
Yeah.
All right, guys, this has been a great half hour, and I really appreciate you being here, Todd. And honestly, anybody who's listening, seriously, it's worth it to follow Todd, because it's really just a great chance to have some levity during your day and just a few good laughs. So, and he's also a great comedian, and you should go see him during the time when you can go see him. So he's going to be on stage this weekend. He'll probably be on stage as soon as they open back up. So definitely get your tickets. He's a great comedian.
And thank you. And I want to say I really love what you guys do with these chats. I think they're really informative, and I really do enjoy watching them. So thanks for doing them. They're nice. Like I did some, and Daphne was part of the one that I did on my Facebook. I think they're important, and people need these kind of like distractions. That's what I called my show, and I think it's great what you two are doing.
I think so too, definitely. Yeah. All right, Todd, we will see you soon. Thanks for being on.
Bye.
Thank you, Todd.
Bye.
Bye, guys.